So this video I'm going to be answering questions, the Authortube Newbie Tag. So that is what this video will be about. So here we go, and I am going to be, just an FYI, I'm going to be reading these on my phone, and I'm not really going to be doing much editing and transitions and stuff, because I am visually impaired, and editing, videos is just very, very visual. So I'm going to be doing what I can, but I'm still learning, so just bear with me. Okay, let's get going. Alright. How did you find out about Authortube? I found out about Authortube through one of my really good friends. She's also my editor. Her name is Clary, and she just recently started her YouTube channel. So go check that out because she's amazing. She's an amazing friend, and an amazing editor, and an amazing writer, and her videos are awesome. So go check her out. Let's see, number 2. What genres do you write in? I write a combination of fantasy, science fiction, and dystopian. My current novel that I said before that I recently released is all of those things combined. It has a little bit of fantasy, a little bit of sci-fi, some dystopian. So those are mainly the genres that I write in. Number 3, what is your preferred writing tense, point of view, and category of story? So my preferred writing tense is first person. I actually used to hate first person because I always felt like I could never get the character's voice right. I always felt like the character came out sounding like myself. So I would write in third person. But then I changed my book to first person, and I did alternating chapters, and it worked really, really well, and I really felt like I could get inside my character's head and really just, dig deep emotionally, and just everything about first person. I loved it once I started it, and I'm probably going to continue to write in first person for the rest of my career. My preferred writing tense is first person past. I don't like first person present, and I feel like a ton of young adult books are written in first person present, and you really have to know what you're doing to write that way, and I don't. Not yet, anyway, but we'll see. Maybe sometime down the road I will figure that out and write a book in first person present. Category of story: children's, YA, NA, adult. This is actually kind of a hard question because my characters in the book that I just released are 24, and so technically it would be new adults, but my book, as is usual with new adult, there's not any romance or sex or my book is clean fantasy, so technically it would be new adult, but I'm gonna say young adult as well, so somewhere in between young adult and new adult. I guess it just depends on the age of the characters and So since, 18 is, kind of the cutoff for young adult. I'm actually not sure. I'm gonna have to look that up. But somewhere in between young adult and new adult. Number 4. Are you a plotter, pantser, or planter? I am actually a planter. I plot for like the first like 5-6 chapters, and then I pants the rest of it. But my process, I just discovered a new writing process that I absolutely love. And this process is that I will record, like, act out the chapters of a new book, like the first draft. I will take my digital recorder and I will act out my story, dialogue, everything. And then I go back and I type up what I've recorded. But first, before I record, I outline. And then I go through and I read my outline so that I know where I'm going in the scene instead of just recording, And that really helps me because it really helps me figure out where the story's going, what the characters are doing, character growth and all that. So that is my process, and I know that was kind of a longer answer than the question required, but anyway, okay. Number 5. Are you a self-published, published, or yet to be published? I am self-published, and like I said, I recently released my first novel on Amazon. It's called Lightning Proof, and you can find it under my author name, which is Rebecca Ann. And I really like self-publishing. I like it because I feel like, I can publish when I want. I'm not under a deadline. I set my own deadline. It doesn't come without its challenges. There's a lot of challenges, and I will actually be talking more about self-publishing, and how I have to do it, and being visually impaired, I had to do things a little bit differently, but I'm going to talk about that in a later video. Okay. Number 6. What publishing company, literary agent, and or printing company are you represented by or use? If you're not, okay. I actually, like I said, I published through Amazon. That's who I published with. I did ebook and print. Someday, like way down the road, I really want to have my books in audio. Like, that is the goal for me, is to have my books in audio, because I personally love audiobooks, and to also, which this is a goal that I'm going to achieve sooner than the audio, but I want to get my book on Bookshare. Bookshare is a service for the blind and visually impaired to find accessible books, to be able to download books in an accessible format. And it's an awesome service. I want to thank my best friend Lauren for telling me about it and helping me figure out how to use it. It's awesome, and I recommend those who are blind and visually impaired to to check it out because it's awesome. It's $50 a year, and you can download like 300 books a month, which is crazy. I don't even read 300 books a year. I would have to read like a book a week for most of the year to read the requirement, the books that they allow you to download. But it's really awesome. Like I really, really like it. And so I'm going to try my hardest to get my book on Bookshare. That is the goal for the next few weeks, is to get my book up there, because that is something that I feel strongly about. I want my book in an accessible format for everyone. So, alright. Number 7. What Authortube related videos can we expect to find on your channel? So I'm going to be talking about, my writing process and, some writing tips that I pick up, that I find, like from other author friends or even other authors on YouTube. There's a lot of awesome writing advice out there, and I'm also going to talk about, what it's like to, be a self-published author and be, visually impaired, because it, it does have its challenges, and so I'm going to be talking, a lot about accessibility and and giving you guys updates on things. And so I hope that you guys will enjoy it, because I'm really looking forward to it. Okay. Number 8. When did you start writing? Okay, so there is actually a story behind when I started writing. So, I technically started writing, like, sitting down at the computer and typing out stories when I was about 11 or 12, somewhere in there. But I started writing, like, having my imagination started when I was 5 years old. And actually, this is actually a perfect story, considering what movie just came out recently, Mary Poppins Returns. Mary Poppins, the original Mary Poppins, was my first movie, like live action movie, that I ever saw. And I was 5 years old, and I fell in love with it. And it was that movie that sparked my creativity. But not only did that movie spark my creativity, but it was my grandma that she is the reason I'm a writer, because she has a very special room in her house, and she would take me up to that room and she would tell me stories. I didn't want to be read to. I wanted her to tell me stories using the characters from whatever I happened to be into at the moment, whether it was Mary Poppins or, Secret Garden or any, what have you. So she would tell this story, but I would be the boss of the story, and I would tell her what to say. So I knew from then on that I was either going to be a director or a writer, and the path led me to being a writer. So that is technically when I started writing. Okay, let's see. Number 9. What was the first story you ever wrote? I can't believe I remember this, but I do, because I was like, gosh, 10 years old maybe, and my first story was basically a retelling of A Little Princess, because I was obsessed with that movie and I loved it. And I remember finding a notebook and just writing for pages and pages and pages. And I remember writing in with a purple pen. I don't know how I remember that, but I do. So that was the first story that I ever wrote, was a retelling of a little princess. And it was basically the movie just written out, because I didn't know what I was doing, because I was 10. So that, yeah, I can't believe I remember that. Okay. Number 10. What authors have inspired your writing the most? Okay, so I feel like every author out there says, when they answer this question, they say J.K. Rowling for the author that inspires them. But she really did inspire me. I mean, I loved Harry Potter. I actually refused to read it for a really long time. I was like, I don't want to read about a boy wizard. No. And then I saw the movies. Okay, and then I saw the movies, and I fell in love with the world and the world building and the characters. I loved everything about it. It was incredible. And I was, gosh, I don't even remember how old I was, but I think I was like 14 or 13 when the first movie came out. Anyway, and then I started reading the book, so I kind of did everything backwards. But I still say that J.K. Rowling was one of the authors that inspired me, because I was writing, before then, but Harry Potter was what really got me into fantasy. And before that, before Harry Potter, it was, I can't remember this author's name. But the author that wrote the Sweet Valley series. I loved that series. I read every single one. So that author, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name. But those books really, really inspired me too. As well as the Little Sister books and the Babysitter's Club. I mean, who doesn't love the Babysitter's Club? I mean, really, those books are just iconic and stand the test of time. Nancy Drew and, all these awesome, amazing books just really inspired me. Okay. Number 11. Do you schedule your writing sessions or simply get to simply get to writing whenever you can find the time? I don't really schedule my writing sessions because I just tend to write whenever I have the inspiration or I have the energy, because I don't write very well at night. Like, nighttime is like when my brain starts going, nope, no writing. I can record, at night, but actual sitting down at the computer and typing out 1,000 words at 9 o'clock at night is not something I can do. I write better in the morning, so I write better like between the hours of like 10 and noon. And then in the afternoon too. Anytime during the day, I can write. It's when you get into the 8, 9, 10 hours that my brain is just like, nope, we're not going to cooperate. So to answer the question, no, I don't have a writing schedule. I just write whenever I feel like it. Oops. Sorry. Okay, number 12. Do you type on a computer, typewriter, write everything up by hand, or use a blend of these? I type on a computer, and I use a screen reader. I do have some vision in my left eye, but the screen reader really helps me. I actually turn off the computer monitor, and I just let the screen reader do all the work, and I've actually found it to be very beneficial. I didn't used to use a screen reader, but up until a year ago, I started using it, and I really find that it's easier for me to type. And also, like I said before, I record as well, so that's part of my process. But I type, I'll type up what I've recorded, and then I edit. I've learned over the last year how to edit using the keyboard, and I hardly ever use the mouse anymore. And that's actually in a later video. I'm going to talk about the accessibility has come a long way, but we still have a ways to go. But that's another video entirely. So the short answer is I type on the computer, and I use a screen reader. It's called NVDA, and it's free to download for anyone that is looking for a screen reader. Oh, I missed part of that question. Okay, number 12, the last part of that question is, where do you write in general? I write at my computer, at my desk, in my room. That is where I write and spend a lot of my time. Okay, here's the last question. What are you most looking forward to now that you're a part of Authortube? I am looking forward to, coming up with what I hope is interesting content and, a new take on, this whole publishing journey. And I'm also looking forward to, growing my, social media a little bit, but more importantly, meeting new people and connecting with other writers and readers too, and just being a part of this awesome community. And I want to again thank my friend Clary, because she inspired me to do this. And so those are the questions. I'm sorry if this video ran a little long. Ones in the future should be a little bit shorter. I don't know though, because I tend to ramble. But that is it, and I want to thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.